this is Tasha, and welcome back to the TNA Post Show. As always, joining me for this post show is none other than the star of the show, the one and only Burt Maclin.
Great introduction, as always. How is it going?
It's going good. All right, I would like to apologize for last week. I was not feeling so good, so unfortunately, we were not able to do the show, but that's okay. We're back and we're better than ever, and we cannot wait to talk about this week's Impact Wrestling because we have a lot of few things to talk about. First, let's start with Explosion. I want to say I'm really happy we've had back-to-back weeks of 2 matches on Explosion because one match is not enough.
I don't want to say it's because of the threatening phone calls I was leaving Explosion headquarters, but yeah, no, I'm very happy. Especially this week's was very good.
Yes, it was. I really like the Rohit Raju versus Leon Slater. You know, Rohit making his grand return to TNA. I will say though, just real quick, I want to acknowledge the fact that last week on Explosion, Chris Bay was Gia Miller's a guest star. And as we know, Chris Bay suffered an injury. Him and El Hijo de Van Kingo. So best wishes to them, and we hope for them to have a speedy recovery.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate. Just a reminder that anything can happen in pro wrestling.
And it sounds from like what I think I saw an update from Ace Austin that I think the surgery went well, if I'm remembering that right. So yeah, we wish Chris Bay and Vakino, positive thoughts, of course.
Yeah. All right. So on Explosion, this week we had Xia Brookside versus Misa Kate. A nice little showing by Xia Brookside and by Misa Kate. Obviously, Xia Brookside was going to win this.
If I remember right, I think Misa Kate was with NWA not too long ago, and she's a name I think I've seen people spoken very highly about, especially someone that they would like to see go to TNA. Just I think it's an easy transition. Just going to the knockouts division, whichever company you're coming from. I think that you're just going to be booked to a certain level. So yeah, I hopefully we do see more of her.
Yeah, she was great showing. Around the ring had Rhino. We found out that boating is a passion of his. And he doesn't want to sell or cruise around the world. He just wants to take a tour of the Great Lakes by boat.
Okay. And they're pretty mass, so that that could take a while.
Mm-hmm. Joseph says, read a report that El Hijo de Van Kingo said TNA was playing it safe with his injury. He hopes to be back at the end of this month. Oh, okay. And any company would be great to have Misha Kate. Yeah, she would make a great addition to the Knockouts division. And like I said, Rohit Raju making his grand return to TNA. He had a match with Leon Slater, a good match with Leon Slater. Leon Slater going over. Leon Slater's stock just keeps on rising. I definitely do think he will break Amazing Red's record and become the youngest X Division champion of all time.
Rohit, I don't know the contract situation. Rohit's somebody who I think companies really benefit from having veteran presences like him in the locker room, just in the company. So hopefully he does stick around, because I thought this was a very, you had someone a former X Division champ, but someone in the latter part of his career, and someone's just beginning in Leon Slater. So I thought this was a very good match.
Definitely. And like I've always said, they could do so much more with Explosion. So much more. I sound like a freaking broken record just up here running every week about Explosion. Seriously, I should just record a video and just play it every week. That way I don't have to constantly repeat myself. All right. So let's get things off talking about the main event of tonight's show, which was the X Division title match, Moose versus Speedball Mike Bailey, which was a result of last week because Moose stepped to Mike Bailey, and Mike Bailey, being the fighting champion he is, put the title on the line. This was a good match, and Moose took it to Mike Bailey.
Yeah, because kind of going in reverse, you had just kind of remind me of the situation. Josh had his first X Division reign. I mean, his first world title reign cut short, and then he went on to have the record-breaking run. After Mike Bailey had his longest run, which is his first run, these last two have been relatively short. So I hope this means that he's moving up in the division rather than he's leaving soon. I haven't heard anything about that, but yeah, another quick reign. I'm interested to see what they do, because I don't really see him fitting into the main event scene just because it's so stacked at this point. So I really don't know. And again, I was more shocked by the result of this match than what happened after the match. Even though what happened after the match was predictable, I still liked it. But no, I was very surprised that Moose became the X Division champion, because also it just seems like the system reboot is more of a thing than ever, because they're really rolling with that, which is good for them, because I thought there wasn't like it was a unsuccessful faction. I thought it really worked. So why break them up? And again, they haven't been we're not reaching Judgment Day bloodline levels of repetitiveness. So it's not like it's been that long. So I'm fine with it.
This is the longest Moose has kept the faction, I will say that.
But because I think that this faction is more so how factions are supposed to be built, instead of having, like, if you just look at the Four Horsemen, just for example, you had your world champion, you had your tag team champions, and you had your enforced. You know what I mean? So I think this faction is very constructed very well.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Joseph says, "Amen, Doctor." I type in there almost every show. They need to have continued storylines on their title changes. Oh, awesome job! Hopefully, they do one day. This shocked me in a good way. I wonder when Moose as champion if they are going back to the old tagline of X Division. It's not about weight limits, it's no limit. The system reboot is in full gear, especially with what was revealed after the show. Eddie Edwards at Turning Point will try to become a 3-time TNA World Champion versus Nick Nemeth. So I have to say, like, it took 4 spears, not at once, not consecutively, but 4 different spears for Moose to put down Mike Bailey. He hit a spear on the outside, a spear mid-air, which was badass if you ask me. And if you notice on that last spear, he blew a kiss to Mike Bailey before he speared him again. So.
Yeah, they did now that I think about that, they did a very good job making Mike Bailey very hard to beat. So when they revisit this, or if they ever revisit this in a world title type situation, it'll be very interesting. Because yeah, Mike Bailey did look like he belonged, and because you really had like the idea of a Moose being a former world champion really makes it seem, it seems like Mike Bailey didn't lose to somebody. Moose is definitely at a higher level than him in terms of where he has been in the company. So this is not a bad loss.
Yeah, this is a really great match. I was shocked that Moose beat Mike Bailey. But now, at the end of this match, we had Trent Seven come down to the ring and hug Mike Bailey. He was all being chummy with Mike Bailey until he hit him with the low blow in the 7-star lariat. Now, this isn't the first time Trent Seven betrays a tag team partner. Hello, Mustache Mountain, ring a bell? He also did the same thing to Tyler Bate back in NXT UK. And that was the end of Mustache Mountain. So I'm curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, because I don't know, it feels like we have a lot of heels already, but I do like this just because at least it makes it seem that they're not automatically sliding in Mike Bailey for a rematch right away, or so that he can feud with Trent Seven for a while. I like this.
Yeah, I definitely want to hear Trent Seven's explanation for why he betrayed Mike Bailey. Oh, I'm pretty sure it has to do with the fact that they never won the tag titles.
That's a heel 101 answer right there. So I like that.
Same. All right, so we had a very heavy knockout episode of TNA. We had like 4 knockout matches, I think, if I counted correctly. Let me see. While it comes across as great, it feels random. Did they break up this team because the Hardy Boys are the World Tag Team Champions? Don't know. Not complaining of the turn of course. Um, honestly, I feel like right now with Chris Bay out of commission, TNA lost a tag team, and it opens the door for another tag team to step forward. You got Sinner and Saint, you got the Good Hands, you got Eric Young and Steve Maclin.
Yeah, but that's a good point, though. I would have. Let's say that this was a planned thing. As soon as Ace and Bay went down, since I'm gonna maybe because they're gonna want to have Ace do something, probably the singles division. Why Bay recovers, I wouldn't have broken up another tag team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had the same thing about when we well. That brings up a point. Could we talk about the Rosemary Wendy Choo match next? Because I have a point that what you just reminded me of when you brought that last point up. I think it kind of worked.
Okay, we can talk about that match first. The no DQ match, Rosemary versus Wendy Choo. What was your point that you wanted to talk about?
Because we keep talking about how you don't watch NXT. I have been starting to, but I'm not the biggest Wendy Choo fan, and we both brought up how we complimented her work and how it seemed to be all clicking with Rosemary. Before this, not only did I think Rosemary did an excellent job getting something out of Wendy, it wasn't like Rosemary was doing anything before this. So, and just a combination of later in the night, we had a tag match where it was a singles match involving one of the champions. It's like we're already going back to that, and it's like I thought we were getting a semblance of the division, and so to break this up, I thought it was way too soon.
Yeah, especially because we don't really have a knockouts tag team division anymore. We need more knockouts tag teams.
But to your point though, yes, this was a very heavy knockout show, and I really do like that because I think that's the division that needs to be kind of retooled the most at this point. So, yeah, I do like what they were doing with it. I do like what we're seeing though.
Yeah, this was a good match between Rosemary and Wendy Choo, especially it was a no DQ match, so it was really good. But this was actually the second match of the night. The first match of the night, tonight's show kicked off with a tag team match. It was Tasha Steelz and Alicia Edwards versus Jordynne Grace and Masha Slamovich. Jordynne Grace and Masha Slamovich make a great tag team. I like the fact that Lish, she tried to play with the fact that she's still injured, but then on commentary they kept saying that she was medically cleared to compete.
TNA's whacked out. I need to see these medical license because she still was hurt a little bit. They could have taken it easier with her. And where TNA really needs to put out some Alicia brand neck braces. You know what I mean?
I'll buy one.
I would too.
Wendy was cutting off a great first ever women's casket match on Tuesday with the Tatum Pay. Don't know if Wendy's done with TNA. Yeah, we don't know if she's done with TNA. I guess only time will tell. But I agree.
Just real quick to that point. I don't think I think I remember this, and I'll try to pull it up as the show goes on or have it for next time. But I think I saw a quote from Wendy that basically said that this was her time in TNA was the best of her career. And when she said that, it really kind of made it to what I've been talking about seem more of a reality. Not everyone on NXT is going to work out. And I think the more women who go over to TNA, at least are seeing a viable option now. Because no matter what people are going to say, TNA is always going to have its stigma of, it's not, whatever the LOL TNA. But now I think with especially WWE working with them and showing that they have faith in them, I think a lot of these women who go over there are going to see, okay, if it doesn't work out in WWE, I can go to TNA. And I'm going to get booked very, very strong.
Yeah, I agree. I hope that we could use NXT's women's tag team division because we need one. And yeah, like NXT is overcrowded with talent. They could use some. They could showcase some of the talent on TNA. Not only that, but on TNA Explosion. Last week was NXT heavy on Explosion too. So it's like, why not feature more women on Explosion?
And I think that there's a lot of. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know if TNA is listening or not, but they could feature more women on Explosion, more NXT women.
And there's a lot of just talent besides the women as well on men as well on TNA. I mean on NXT that I think fit in very well on TNA if something didn't work out in NXT. There's a lot of talent there that I think fits the way that TNA books a wrestling show.
Same. It's clear Alicia doesn't want that butt whooping for Masha. I think unless Masha gets support TNA knockouts on the line, the women's division in NXT is so stacked that either they need to send talent to the main roster or let them have reps in TNA. Yeah, they should definitely have reps in TNA. I think it'll be beneficial for them. All right. So next we get a Savannah Evans interview. She was basically asked why she attacked Li Ying Li last week. And basically Savannah brings up the point that she's just been sitting at home watching people get opportunity after opportunity. And she says that she's tired of TNA treating Li Ying Li like a big deal. So she's going to take an opportunity. I actually really like the side of Savannah. Now, I think that the problem when they brought in Savannah, they didn't give her this much character. She was just like a monster, like kind of like a bodyguard thing. But now we're starting to see a different side of her, you know? She's starting to talk more, which before she didn't talk much.
Yeah, this is again good for TNA. They're very good at not only when they lose someone, they're also very good at giving somebody that's already on the roster more time to shine. And I think that's what they're doing with Savannah right here. So good for them.
Yeah, I definitely do think Savannah has potential to be a dominant force in the women's division, like Jordynne Grace, but she's just got to book properly, and I think this is a start.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get Mustafa Ali versus Mike Santana. This match was actually from the Vault. This was filmed June 15, 2024. Apparently, when they were in Chicago. I'm assuming they aired this in place of the Vikingo match or in the ABC Matt Hardy match.
Which, you know what? This worked out fine for me because a lot of people, including myself, I missed Mustafa Ali, and they didn't show this match. So it was new to me. So, again, this was a very good match.
Kind of short. I wish it would have been longer. But, you know, we got a tag team match. Joe Hendry and Mike Santana versus Mustafa Ali in campaign. Freaking Matthew Rayo on commentary was like, no one said his name. They just played his music.
Ray Rold and Hannah Fanner are so good. There's another point in the show when Ray Walt's questioning how Ash and Heather never get wins on their own, and Ray Roll's telling them that's what a team does. You've never had friends or something like. They're very good on commentary together.
Yeah, they are. They are funny. They are hilarious. Matthew Rayo. Yeah, I didn't have a problem. I think this is a dark match. I think it replaced Vankingo versus Trent. Tom and Matt did a great job of commenting this match as it aired from the Vault. So they were commenting as it aired from the Vault. I thought this was. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Very good match, though.
Yeah, very good. It's a shame under the circumstances that we got it, you know, but I'm not complaining. I thought this was a really good match and a good way to segue out of the matches that weren't able to air. All right. So we get a Steve Maclin promo. And Steve Maclin is basically talking about Josh Alexander, about how Josh didn't beat him. Josh may have gotten the win, but he didn't beat him. And he promises this is far from over. Oh, this is definitely far from over. After what Josh Alexander did to Steve Maclin, yeah, this is not over.
I think what will make Steve Maclin the ultimate face in the situation too is if we also get an Eric Young turn and he ends up joining the Northern Armory, just because that would make sense. He is Canadian as well. So just because C. Maclin came off like a top face in this promo, so.
Yeah, I said that. I said that too. I'm like, I wonder if Eric Young's going to turn on Steve Maclin and join the Northern Armory because he is Canadian. And,
Yeah.
I even suggested that about Jodi Threat, but we don't need to lose any more Knockouts tag teams.
Yeah. And Eric Young also joining just makes a lot of sense because it's almost like the spiritual successor to Team Canada, which he was in.
Mm-hmm. If ABC versus the Hardys was to have a main evented next week, it would be interesting to see what match from the vault we get if that is a plan. Yeah, that is true. I'm curious to see what match replaces that. So next we get a Rascalz segment, and they're back in the treehouse. What does it start off that way? They're talking about how they didn't get the win, which I'm assuming they're talking about to be #1 contenders for the tag titles. And then they climb over like some chairs, and then they're in the treehouse. So this was good. This was funny. I always like the treehouse segments.
The Rascalz segments are a gateway drug for me wanting to smoke.
Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, they almost like they climbed like a set of bleachers before they extend out. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of looked like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't got them, so I can't smoke them. Yeah, I hope we get to see more treehouse segments. All right, we get a digital exclusive featuring Joe Hendry and the Nemeth brothers. Ryan's confronting Joe Hendry about what happened at Bound for Glory, and Santino Marella makes a match for Ryan Nemeth versus Joe Hendry. And then Marella tells Joe Hendry that he does believe him about, what happened, and unfortunately he has to start from the bottom. So the Rascalz treehouse like made me laugh because it's so funny. Imagine if we got a comedy show with them in a treehouse. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
It's so funny him saying he has to start from the bottom. That's good though, because it's better to not have Joe lose a bunch of title matches so close to each other. Let him work his way back up and get a title shot in like 3 or 4 months. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So this leads into Joe Hendry showing a music video that celebrates Ryan Nemeth's career, and it really just says he's Nick Nemeth's brother, and that's it. That was like hilarious.
That was very predictable, but very funny. Very, very funny.
I agree. That shit was hilarious. I was cracking up hearing that. I mean, I knew that's what he was gonna like say, but we find out that match is taking place next week. Ryan Nemeth versus Joe Hendry. I can't wait. It's gonna be good. All right, next we get a Mike Santana promo, a segment, and he's approached by First Class, and he warns for First Class to watch their words. And First Class, it seems like First Class is trying to, align themselves with Mike Santana here. And Mike Santana says that he pretty much beats the system on his own, and he doesn't need them. So, seems like they might be feuding with Santana in the First Class. Interesting feud, I'd say.
Also, AJ Francis, not only with a red shirt similar to Suge Knight, he even referenced Suge Knight. That was very, very funny to me. He was talking about if he's tired of everyone in the video. Like, that was very good. And then I also like how he told Casey Navarro to shut up. Like, the dynamic was very good in this segment.
Yeah, I really like First Class. Unfortunately, I don't fly First Class. I fly economy, but I like First Class.
And hopefully we get Rich Swann back soon.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about Rich Swann. But yeah, hopefully he comes back. So next, but certainly not least, we get the last knockouts match of the evening. It's Heather by Elegance versus Jodi Threat. I have to say, like, I was shocked that Jodi Threat won, but it makes sense because you don't want to give Ash and Heather by Elegance a title opportunity too soon. So now that both teams have one victory over each other.
Yeah, you want them to get on a roll as a tag team. So yeah, let them get some wins. Agree with everything about this.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ash won last week. Ash beat Luna. Jodi beat Heather. So now, it wouldn't surprise me if they change it next week. You got Danny versus Heather and Jodi versus Ash. So. But I still think we should use some women's from NXT to stack up the Knockouts tag team division.
Hey, we could end up getting Indy Hartwell from NXT, and her and Steph could be a team again. So that'd be great.
Yeah, when SCL comes back from her neck surgery.
Yep.
All right, that's about it. As we already talked about the main event, which was the X Division title match. So, but you got anything else you want to say or talk about before we get ready to sign off?
No, I think 4 shows left till Turning Point. Turning Point, right?
I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know about Thanksgiving because I don't know if it'll be a regular episode or a Thanksgiving episode. But Turning Point is the 29th, so you can make an argument roughly 2 to 3 episodes because we don't know if the Thanksgiving one is a regular episode or if it's like a special episode.
Yeah, but I would just say pay attention because even though this is a plus special, it should be a very good card. It's going to be in North Carolina, I think, during WrestleCade, so I would expect some surprises.
No, yeah, I was talking about the Go Home show too. Turning Point. Yeah, I don't know. We're getting a TNA
for sure
episode that Thursday.
Okay.
Because it's Thanksgiving, and I know last year they didn't air an episode during Thanksgiving.
I think you're right.
So we'll just wait and see. We'll just make sure you guys tune in every week so you guys know.
Definitely.
All right, Bert. Where can people find you?
Just on X at BertMac11.
You can follow me on Twitter at @TheTell_. I talk all things wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA. I go live on my YouTube channel, Rangers of Wrestling, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, occasional Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, for all things TNA, you can catch me here every Thursday. Let me see. Yeah, I wonder how they'll handle the Go Home show considering it's Thanksgiving, then the pay-per-views will need the next night. I think the Go Home show will probably be the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
For sure.
Yeah, all right. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching and for the continued support. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live and whenever Body Slam goes live. And we'll see you guys next week as the road to Turning Point continues. Bye.